Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Salt Lake City Impact Review. It's not good. What I mean by that is this, ladies and gentlemen. When you have a pay-per-view, it is important that as a promotion, that the next show that's on television or on the internet or whatever has to be impactful to build for the next pay-per-view. I know TNA has a 3-month cycle pay-per-view, and any supplemental pay-per-views they had were done months ago. But in the end, we needed something good here. Did we get that? No way did we get that. And I'm going to go through the matches first, and why I felt they were good or bad. The first match of the night was Gail Kim and Brooke versus ODB and Velvet. I am really upset about this. Even though Lady Tapa was at ringside, and I'll be talking about her in a minute and why it was important for her to be there. This was very disappointing because simply we have all 5 of our knockouts there. And that is so sad. Oh my goodness. I have never seen this so bad. I miss, and this is really digging to the bottom of the barrel. I really miss Madison Rayne right now. I miss Winter. I miss her. I miss fucking Jackie at this moment. If I couldn't get them, if I can get my Angelina Love, the gorgeous Angelina Love, my Tara, my Mickie Jane, I would be happy to have them back. I'm so hungry for someone to be there. I'd rather see Madison Rayne there, and she's terrible. But at this moment, we got nobody. Please, TNA, give us some people. But the match itself is not the question here. Gail Kim wins, but this is not about Gail. This is not about Miss Tessmacher, ODB, and Sky. This is about Lady Tapa. And I know people, I'm sure people, they didn't leave any comments on my review. But when it comes down to this, Lady Tapa is too green to be by herself yet. And I know I've heard, like, the Sleg Daddy said simply, I'd rather see her go on a tirade and go up against people. I would agree with him if she'd had at least 4 or 5 years under her belt, and she'd already learned how to be able to figure out her character and her character development and how she wants to be as a heel. But she's only been in the business barely 3 years. She had, I mean, this month will probably be near 3 years for her. But my guess is not even close yet. She's only been in OVW maybe 7 to 8 months, maybe 9, and was stretching it. She had barely any time. They had to pull her up early from OVW. So when it comes down to it, ladies and gentlemen, Lady Tapa's not ready. No matter how much we'd rather see her destroy everyone than be with Gail Kim. And I know Gail Kim, I heard people say Gail Kim is nothing but a botch fest. She's just too much of a glory hog. She's not that good looking. She's bad on the mic. I understand that. But when you see it for what it is, she's the oldest knockout they have. She is. It makes no difference if you like her or not. She's the oldest knockout, and Lady Tapa is the youngest. You need to put her with someone that can at least decently, and I'm talking about 100%, maybe 50 to 40% of her ability can put something into Lady Tapa's head and make it possible for her to learn enough within the next 6 months so she can go on that tirade, that she can destroy the remaining knockouts, including a Gail Kim. That's what we need. We can't have someone rush into it and completely be a waste of time, because she could win the title within 3 months if she was by herself. But does that mean they're going to structure her properly while she's this green? No, she needs someone to work with. She needs someone to talk for her and that she can listen to and to learn what not to do, because let's be honest, Gail Kim sucks when she's on the line most of the time. When she's on the mic, when she's online, it sucks. But Lady Tapa could actually learn something. Yeah, she could actually repeat most of how she acts, but it doesn't mean she won't get her own type of personality. So this was about Tapa. Another thing that is a good possible thing, just like Lady Tapa, EC3, Ethan Carter III, being an aristocrat with that nose of his, dealing with another jobber. What was it? Rick Barnes, I don't remember his first name, Barnes, who has a bear print on his ass, on his trunks, his ass. Again, we get a good enhancement jobber match. I know people aren't fond of these jobber matches, but these jobbers are not 100% pieces of crap. They do pretty good work. And what was it? Rick Barnes, I believe? I can't pronounce his name. I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But when it comes down to it, it was a good match. It put EC3 on the map. Well, at least my map for how he will be progressed up the card in a year. How he can be grown. And I'll be interested in that. Now, we didn't get any X-Division stuff. But we did get the tag teams. And this is where things I know people are not happy about. Look, I'm not fond of bromance. Particularly when, what is it? Phil Heath was there. Showed his muscles. But then doesn't appear in this Impact. What the hell, man? That's stupid. Them mentioning him powerlifting, bodybuilding, whatever, lifting a car means shit. We need him on the show. Now, if he's really a wrestling fan, cool. He wanted to be there one time because he was in the area, fine. But it really hurt them more than what they are now. But I have to say this, and I didn't say this on my Bound for Glory review. As much as you guys are jobbers, they are jobbers. Jesse is better than Robbie E, let's be honest. But they both did a good job during that match. They did. Bromance did good against Gunner and Storm. I'm not going to take nothing from them. As much as I'm tired of them seeing as jobbers. Robbie E's the best jobber they got. He sucks. But I can't take that away from him. So when the segment came in the ring and they got themselves, he kind of looks like the guy. If you've seen Pimp My Ride, and there was this, basically, it was a white guy who can do basically turntable work. He was a DJ, and he was good. He kind of looks like him. And it's a possibility they actually hired him. If that was him, dude, I'm glad to see you. I think his name was Nathan. But the point is, he, doing the turntable was interesting. There's no way you can deny that that wasn't an interesting segment with the bromance. But then it gets into a clusterfuck. And then when Mike Tenay said during the fight, everybody's there, everyone who participated in Bound for Glory is there, then where's stereotypicals? I'm just saying. I'm not stereotypical fan. I'm actually glad they weren't there. I am glad they were not even shown. Because it was already a clusterfuck as it was. But the people who shined the most was Kaz and Daniels of bromance and of the trifecta of professional wrestling, Ego. I call them trifecta, everyone else calls them Ego. You can call them trifecta yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me below. They did the best segment. But here's the problem. And I said this before. I said bromance would be dealing with Parks and Eric Young. I said that they would be used as a plot device for the Abyss character. And when you saw Jesse get power chokeslammed by the Abyss character, which is Joseph Park, you think, so are they going to give, instead of giving the titles to Bad Influence, or give them back to Gunner and Storm, which really wouldn't make any sense because they're not doing anything with them, and then keeping them on bromance, which is even worse, they're going to give it to Eric Young and Joseph Park. Because Joseph Park is going to eventually do a Jekyll and Hyde to turn himself into Abyss, and then we're going to see the Abyss back again. That's the way I'm seeing it. And I'm not fond of it. I said that it's time to get the Abyss back. It's been more than a year for the Abyss being gone. And it is time for them to come back. But if they win those titles and the Abyss turns from Joseph Park completely into Abyss that way, I feel it's a waste of time for the tag championships. I know it sounds, hey, that'll be a great twist. It could if the tag championships are promoted. And there's the problem. They only bring out the tag championships when they have something for them to do. And then they only bring back the Abyss when they need something done. Look what happened to Bound for Glory. The Abyss didn't even carry in the title with him. Ladies and gentlemen, the Abyss didn't even have the television. I wish they called it the global title again. It sounded more prestigious than the television title. It's bullshit. The global title sounded better. If that was the name. I'm remembering it wrong. I'm sorry. But I'd rather see him come out as the television champ and then beat the crap everybody who hurt his brother. But we didn't get that. And then again, we see now Joseph Park. Just like I said, he ain't coming back too soon. The Abyss. It's going to be Joseph Park. So this is what we're going to get. And I'm not fond of it. It's not what I wanted. Now, 2 segments we're going to talk about. Sting and Magnus. Seeing Magnus show respect to Sting, I don't think was the wisest thing to do. I mean, it sounds nice, they're touchy-feely, they shake hands, but the problem here is that you really need to have more of a conflict with Magnus and Sting. Sting didn't put Magnus completely over. I know people said, hey, Magnus won clean. Yes, he did. He won 100% clean and did a submission on one of the submission specialists of the history of WCW and TNA, which is Sting. But it's not enough. Sting has to really put Magnus over properly. And it's not going to be under one match. It has to be under more than one. Sting literally has to be demoralized by Magnus. So that means there has to be 2 more matches where Sting must be buried by Magnus for him to truly get over and solidify himself as a main event player. You can always rebuild Sting anytime, but this is a very fragile time for Magnus. If you don't do this TNA, if we don't get more than a few Magnus and Sting matches where Sting loses clean to Magnus, we will not get Magnus totally over. That's just my feeling. The next segment will be the Kurt Angle and Robert Roode segment. Now, I said before that I didn't want to see Angle back so soon. And I was alright with him not joining the Hall of Fame. Now, I did see the Sleg Daddy's video, and he did say, I think he said something about maybe he's going to WWE. I'm not saying that he said that. It just seemed to come off on me like that. That this kind of like, I'm not going to be in your Hall of Fame. I'd rather be in the WWE. Now, I could understand that, the way Sleg Daddy said it, and if he's leaving to go to WWE, then he's a jerk-off. You can be in both Hall of Fames. I'm just saying. But the point of the matter is this. If he's not leaving, this is a redemption Angle storyline. I said this before. If he's not leaving to go to WWE, he's doing this to try and do a road to redemption like Jeff Hardy. Because of what happened. And this is where I think it goes wrong. If Kurt Angle had just said the reason I'm not doing this is because I just came out of rehab, because of my drinking problem, being that honest to the fans would have gotten across much better. I know people are still interested in this feud with Robert Roode, and so am I. I'm actually interested in it. But I think being that honest would actually have done better. They did that with Jeff Hardy. So why won't they do that with Angle? Because he's either too prideful or they just don't want to make sure their former WWE guy looks bad in the eyes of the TNA fans. But in the end, what did we get? We got a good segment from Robert Roode, and then we got a fight. And I'm actually interested in seeing what they're going to do. I really believe that this is going to stretch the Genesis. I would love to see it stretch the Genesis. And it's not great to see Angle at all doing a redemption thing, but if it's with Robert Roode right now, it actually makes sense. Because he can really help him rebuild. And hopefully Robert Roode will not be buried in the process. I don't want to see that. Now, when it comes to the final segment of AJ versus Bully Ray, opening and ending of the show with Anderson, why now? You make it, this is the reason why I'm going to give it the rating it's going to get. Because it's confusing. Mr. Anderson could have came later. It could have happened after we know what happened with AJ Styles. Because him facing Bully Ray because he wants to, not because he's under contract, makes it like, look, if they had done the WWE, I think it was 2011 into 2012. I can't remember. I think it's 2011. When, I don't know why I'm blanking out on the year. For some reason, I think it was 2011 when CM Punk left with the title and then came back. Why couldn't AJ do the same thing? Why couldn't we see an angle where AJ just left with the title and then Dixie has to have a new title made? It could be a different design, it could be the same design, and then leave an open challenge for people to become, anyone to become the new world championship. But what do we get? We get AJ coming back telling her she's going to pay. and she's kissing his ass, giving everything he wants. Bully Ray comes out saying, I'm going to have my match, I'm going to kill you. Then Anderson comes out to kill that momentum. Anderson should not be involved in this at this moment. It's too soon. You have to finish with Bully Ray and then Dixie, then you can have Anderson. The match between Bully Ray and AJ was alright. It was like Bound for Glory. It wasn't a bad match at all. Then when Anderson came in and basically distracted Bully Ray enough that AJ could win, just felt wrong. It was not the right timing for it. But now we have an Anderson and Bully Ray feud, which I did say would eventually happen. Aces and Eight would fight one another. The video segment before they had the match more than clearly stated that Anderson is still mentioned in Aces and Eights. He shouldn't be mentioned, but he is. So what do we get finally? AJ telling Dixie, you're going to pay. I'm taking the title, and I'm taking the car, and I'm giving it back to the people. I am the true champion. And he drives off. This is where it feels very, very confusing. Even though it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next Impact. Will AJ come back or not? They could have done this in Bound for Glory. And then they could have done a great opportunity. One, to print up a new belt. A new design again. Or the same one. Doesn't matter. Then have an open challenge. Dixie's open world champion challenge. They could have done that. And then that would have made more sense. And then a couple of weeks later, when the champion's been challenged by a couple of people, even if it was Bully Ray, they could have brought him, AJ, back and say, you don't have the real title, I have. And then they could have done a unification type of angle, which would have given more interest. When have you seen this on TNA? We haven't. So this is what I was hoping for, but we didn't get it. My rating, honestly, is a C+. I'm going to give it another C+. This was not a very good show. EC3 was a great match. I loved it. Later Tap, it was pretty much presented. But when it comes to the tag champs, really, I'm not fond of seeing what's going to happen with Joseph Park. It feels like they're doing that with Joseph Park. They're interweaving him into the championship. Angle and Rude is an interesting thing I want to see. Nothing about the X Division. Nothing about Sabin. Nothing about Hardy. They could have squeezed that in. They didn't do nothing. C+. And I hope you enjoyed this Zane view. Subscribe and comment to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. And one last thing I want to say before I finish. This is for Ms. Impact. If you see this, Ms. Impact, I know I sent you an email earlier, but I wish to apologize. The way that the YouTube has changed so much, I didn't even realize that I still have my comments in my discussion. Every time when I clicked it, it didn't want to come up. This time it came up, and I saw that you commented 3 weeks ago, and I'm glad you still want to watch me, and you actually want to put me on your channel as a connection. If you still want to do that, I'm truly honored. Honestly, I am. You don't have to do that. I'm very thankful. If you do that, you got a thumbs up from me, honey. And I'm sorry that I didn't get to you sooner. I wish I had known. And I'm so glad you still have your channel up because it's a good channel. Now, you have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.